Hello and welcome. This video will be about how to download and install the Cisco UCS Emulator. I've selected version 2.2 BPE1 as the version to install. You will need a laptop or PC with VMware Workstation or VMware Player installed. You will also need a Cisco CCO login account. The Cisco UCS Emulator is a free download, however you must have an account to download it. If you don't have one, just go to cisco.com and click register in the upper right corner to create an account. You'll also need a web browser with pop-ups enabled on the PC and Java installed. To start, I went to google.com and entered Cisco UCS Emulator 2.2 space 1BPE1 and press enter. The results shown below, click the top link and this will take you to the Cisco Communities. The Cisco Communities page shows the version that we want to install. It has made some fixes and new features in this version. Scroll down slightly and you will see some links for downloading. So the first link is for the release notes. You'll click that and download the release notes, and then click the user guide and download the user guide. The version that we really need is the OVA file. The OVA file is the software itself, but this is not a link. To download this, you click the login to download link below, and this is why you need the CCO account. It takes you to this page, which is where you'll need to enter your CCO account credentials to download the software. So enter that and click the download link, and it should take 5 or 10 minutes to download. It depends on your internet speed. It took about 5 minutes for me to download it. This might be a good place to pause the video, download the software, and then return. Okay, so you have the software downloaded. In the downloads, you see the three files that we downloaded: the OVA file, the user guide, and the release notes. So you will go to the OVA file, right-click the OVA file, and select Open with VMware Workstation. After you click that, this prompt will come up. It opens the VMware Workstation, and this is the file that you're trying to open, and it tells you unless you say otherwise, it's going to save it in this default location. That's fine for me, so I will click Import, and this will take a while. This is going to take about 20 minutes for this to import and convert this from an OVA file to a VMware VMX file and the corresponding files. So I've already done this. Yours will need to run, so let it continue running. And near the end of your installation, you can take a break now. It's going to take about 20 minutes. Near the end of the installation, it will come up to this screen, and you'll need to note what IP address that your emulator received. Mine was 192.168.30.130. Okay, as it boots, about 20 minutes later, it's going to show you this IP address. And then at the end, it will show you this screen with some usernames. The available logins for this machine are config with password config, the user CLI user with password CLI user. There's also an important one that's not mentioned here. To log into the GUI, you can log in as admin with password admin. So you'll need to know that to log in, and the IP address that you just received. So it should come up to a screen like this, and this shows the screens that you'll see, and it's completed loading. So now I'll get a web browser and go to that IP address. It will redirect it to the config directory, and This looks just like the real UCS Manager with the exception of the panel on the left. We have some emulator settings that we can change the equipment and things on the left. There's one change I'd recommend you making. Go down to Emulator Settings and click Database Persistence. So if we make changes inside the UCS Manager and then we reboot the emulator, we stop the virtual machine and restart it, we would lose those settings. If you might want to save those through several reboots, click the top option that says Preserve UCS Database upon restart, and then click Submit. Wait for this to update. We see the settings updated, and now we're ready to start. So click UCS Manager, UCS Manager Home, and then click Launch UCS Manager, and you have to have pop-ups enabled or it will not launch correctly. So launch the UCS Manager. It takes 1 or 2 minutes to load, and then it will bring you to this screen. This screen is exactly the same as it would be in a real UCS Manager system. So you see equipment. We're on the Equipment tab. You see 2 fabric interconnects. Here's a chassis. The chassis has 6 servers preloaded for us by default. We can change these, but it's a good starting point for us. Here's a rack mount server 1 and a rack mount server 2. So the fabric interconnects that are being emulated are 6296 fabric interconnects. A good selection. Here's the chassis 1. We click chassis 1 and we can see which servers are inside. Here's the B200 M1, B200 M1, B250 M1, and so forth. You can see which blade servers were included by default. And again, we can change these, but it's a good starting point for us. The rack mount equipment shown below shows 2 fabric extenders. That's what Effects is a fabric extender. And these are the 2232 PP fabric extenders. There are 2 of those also by default. Effects 2 and Effects 3. Connected to those, we have 2 rack mount servers. The 2 rack mount servers are a C200 and a C210. So we have quite a lot of equipment for a lab environment just to start out of the box. We've selected database persistence, so it will maintain our changes after a reboot. And in less than an hour, you have a great system set up for practicing using UCS. This will allow you to create policies and pools and service profiles, practice creating those and navigating the system, and it took less than an hour to set up, and it's a free download. Thank you for watching the video.